Hello, you are listening to the voice of the Lakota ancestors. I am now receiving a transmission from an ancient voice from Paris, France. The voice will now speak the Lakota ancestral voice speaking once again. I am now being contacted from another spiritual plane, from a soul from Glasgow, Scotland. Once again, this is the voice of the Lakota ancestors. And now, a really cool guy is going to talk. How me talking happy wanna let you happy ki hetcha mahpia na mahaju ashu pia kalmongelo. The you ha yopia wochicha capello, Lakota haka chik ala toka akan yonke emachapelo, ash washichia, David Little Elk emachapelo. Itazipco oyate hetan na tesi chanho oyate hetan na ehani wakpawashte elwa tielo. Gash wana particular ya si tama koche no toa hetanka Berlin et japi elwa tielo na you had chonte was stand up at you up below. Welcome everyone. I greet you all as relations because everything is connected. And I said it's nighttime here. Actually, it's evening time, and it is cloudy. Every now and then, a little bit chilly, but I am doing pretty good. And I'm happy to be here to talk to you in my own voice. Hey. In the Lakota way, I am called Little Elk running over the enemy. And in the English language, I am called David Little Elk. Yeah, I had to think there for a second, yeah. And my mother's from the Cheyenne River Sioux Reservation, and my father's from the Rosebud Sioux Reservation, and there's an Ochli in my eye. Hang on. Just kidding. Of course, you say that kind of thing on the air. Yeah? Wait a minute, there's an Ochli in my eye. Shoot. Oh man, that's horrible. Oh shoot. And anyway, I grew up on the Cheyenne River Sioux Res, and currently I'm living in Germany. And I shake all your hands from my heart. And yeah, I was just goofing off there at the beginning of the show. I suppose some people out there thought I was really serious, and I thought I would start the show in a kind of unique way, so there you go. and now a really cool guy is gonna talk. Shoot. Anyway, I'm checking out the secret chat room here, and let's see, where did they go again? I think they're hiding from me. Here we go. Here we have the frying pan, philosophy, and more chat room. Hey. And more. I like that. Yeah, we have wonderful ladies here from London by the name of Pam. She's originally from Scotland and very proud of it. Yeah, even her frying pan is tartan. Or for those of you in America, you probably don't know what that is. That's kind of like plaid. Yeah, what in America we say plaid, which probably is incorrect. So even her frying pan is plaid. Yeah, that's how Scottish she is. She told me last week that she was taking a new course. She said she's learning how to kick boxes. So I was like, why would you? Why? How? I was speechless. And it's like, how? Taking a course to learn how to kick a box. That must be a Scottish thing, I was thinking. I didn't understand, Scottish people have all these expressions, and I can't think of any at the top of my head right now. But I thought maybe kicking kicking the box. I thought maybe that was some kind of a Scottish expression. So that, she said she was taking a course on kicking the box. So I thought, gee, that must be a kind of a Scottish thing. Yeah. So I just said okay. And and here all this time it's kickboxing. Yeah. I don't know why she said she's gonna learn how to kick boxes. She could have just said kickboxing. I could have understood that. Yeah. So she sent me a picture of herself in her martial arts pajamas, and it's all plaid. Yeah. That's how proud she is to be Scottish. Whew, gee, frying pan just went by there. I ducked from that one. Oh man, I'm just kidding. No, she's a funny lady. Oh my, so she's here, she's listening. And, well, there's a reason why I started the show like that. There's this movement called spiritualism, and this movement is relatively young. I tell you, there was a time in American history around the 1840s. There was a time in history, in American history. This is a time period that was the United States was mostly located on the eastern, basically from the Mississippi River and then to the east. And somewhere around the 1840s, there was a religious fervor going around. It became like a fad, like how that is, like in music, remember this Backstreet Boys was all popular and everything back in the 90s, and then In Sync came out, and then of course England had to do it too with their, what are they called, Take Shit or something like that. It's just stupid, but everybody was doing it, yeah. And you know what I mean? It's a fad, and everybody has to come up with their own version. And when you add the element of narcissism in here, boy, you can get some lively activity happening, of people competing with each other, and basically, it's a penis envy thing happening here. Yeah, basically that's what it is. And during that time period in the 1840s, it was religion. People were coming up with strange ideas to form new churches. So from that time period, we get the Mormons, for example. And there was some Quakers that were doing some kind of crazy things too, and some other the Quakers, I think they're much older, but they got crazy around 1840. Yeah, they really went nuts. So around the same time period, there was another movement called spiritualism that also began. They say, now according to them, they say that the way their movement started was with two sisters. They were going to bed and they were kind of goofing around, so they decided to see what would happen if they knock on the wall that is facing outside the house. The other side is outside, is what I meant. Yeah. So they knocked a certain pattern on this wall, and here a few seconds later, something knocked back. So they did rhythms. Yeah, they did different rhythmic knocking, and then the other side, somebody knocked back the same way. And so they say that was their first recorded event of contact with the other side. Yeah, other side of the wall, but not that doesn't necessarily mean, the other side of, whatever. It's just the other side of the wall. What's so big about that, yeah? So that's where it started, yeah? And then it got strong in England. There was a lady, her name is Estelle Roberts. back in the early 1900s or so. She claimed to have contact with the chief Red Cloud from the Pine Ridge Reservation. So, allegedly, she was doing these seances to sell out audiences and so forth, and people, really believed what she was doing, that she was allegedly Red Cloud would inhabit her body and speak through her. So their basic belief system is that after you die, that there are several phases, several areas, one after the other. So when you die, you go to the one that's very close to our reality, conscious reality. Okay? And there you get prepared to eventually get to heaven. But you have to go through all these schools or something. So when you get to the second level, you're going further away from this reality, our conscious reality. So the more further you go, the more difficult it is for that soul to contact our reality. That's their belief. So, for some reason, this is according to the spiritualists, okay? They say that Native American Indians don't want to go through that school. So what they do is they stay at this first level. And what they do is they contact people who are still alive, and they're like messengers for people who just died. So, for example, let's invent an imaginary couple here. Okay, let's use Joseph and Mary. Yeah, Jesus' parents. Yeah, let's use Joseph and Mary. Okay. Well, let's say Mary dies. Yeah, she was stampeded by donkeys or something, mules. Okay, so let's see. So she died, and so now Mary goes to the other side and meets this Lakota soul named Crazy Horse. Okay. And then she talks to Crazy Horse in English, of course, and evidently Crazy Horse speaks English. And so she says, I need to give a message to my husband, Joseph. I want you to tell him I'm doing okay, I'm happy, and make sure you turn the oven off. There's still bread in the oven. So Crazy Horse says, oh, gee, I better hurry up. And then so Crazy Horse comes over to Joseph, and let's say there's a trumpet on Joseph's table. So Crazy Horse goes to this trumpet and he hollers through the trumpet. Hey, Joseph, he says, this is Crazy Horse, famous Lakota chief. Mary, she just talked to me and she's really happy, by the way. So she told you not to be afraid, and don't be sad, don't cry, because she's really happy. She's in a good place and she's going to wait for you. But she told you to turn the oven off because there's still bread in there, and she doesn't want it to burn. That way you still have something to eat tonight. Okay, message transmitted, over. This is what the spiritualists do. This is basically what they do. This is their belief system. So now let's follow Mary here. Okay, so Mary, she goes to this level 1 school, and then when she's going to level 2, she says goodbye to Crazy Horse, and then she goes to level 2, and she continues until she's done. Yeah, and then she gets to heaven. This is their belief. So the further she goes, the further away from Joseph she is, and so she can't contact him, and she can't see. Once you leave that first level, you can't talk to these Lakota guys anymore. Oh man, what a goofy belief system, yeah. And so so when she goes to level 2, yeah, no, she can't talk to him. She can't be flirting with Lakota guys anymore, yeah. So she has to move on, and then Crazy Horse is going to help the next one that comes. Yeah, this is their belief system, and so they believe that they can
learn to become these mediums that contact these souls. Okay? And they believe that when they become a medium, they get an Indian spirit guide. Why do they have to be Indian? Why not Polish? Yeah, why not popes? I mean, geez, these popes were like leaders of the Catholic Church. 1/6 of the world's population is Catholic, and why not the popes? Yeah, why not? Why don't they have popes for their guardian angels or their spirit guides? Why does it have to be Indians? I don't get that. Why not monkeys? Why not monkeys? Why don't they contact monkeys? I mean, geez, they have these Lakota guys that lived in the 1800s talking English. So my guess is that monkeys can talk English too in the spirit world. Yeah. Everybody talks English in the spirit world. Gee. My goodness, that's awful. I think that all spirits just speak English. That's just awful. My. So that's essentially what they do. And so they all get Indian guides, and they come up with some ridiculous things. I mean, like this lady that I was talking about in the early 1900s. She says Red Cloud is doing a wonderful work for his people, and through her, she's writing all of it down. That he talks to her every day and is telling her all the wonderful things that he's doing for his people, and that one day she's supposed to give this book to his people so that they will know and they won't be sad that he's gone. Well, this lady should have did her history, because the truth is that Red Cloud's not seen in a good light among Lakota people. You go to any reservation and talk to somebody really old about Red Cloud, and you're going to hear something that you don't hear in too many books. What you're going to hear is that at the end, he betrayed his own people. He tried to sell the Black Hills behind everybody else's back when he was still alive, and he was not seen in a good light, and he is responsible for the assassination of Crazy Horse. He was jealous of him. This is a known fact. When you have a lady from England saying that she's channeling this Red Cloud and that he's doing a wonderful work for his people, and if she's supposed to take this to the Lakota people, specifically Pine Ridge, at least half of the people are going to say, the heck with him. The guy's an asshole. You see, he's not seen in a good light. So she didn't do her history good enough. Yeah, she didn't do that good enough. The other thing is that if this really, really could happen, what the hell are the Lakota spirits doing in England? England, the countryside is nice, but the Black Hills, that is amazing. If you ever go to the Black Hills, this is a very beautiful land. Don't go to the tourist areas, but you go into the nature of the Black Hills. This is incredibly beautiful. And when you're looking at guys from the 1800s, the 1700s, even further back in time, even to the year 0, even in the times before Christ, the Black Hills is very beautiful. It's an oasis in the prairie. Yeah, it is just amazing. It has healing energy in it. This is why we consider this our temple. If we had a church, it would be the Black Hills. People went to the Black Hills to get healed. There are hot springs in the southeast part of the Black Hills, and people went there to get cured for thousands of years. Why would we want to go to England when we've never been there before? Let's look at the year 600, and you have Lakota people in and around the Black Hills area. Why would they want to go to England? That's a good question. Why would they want to go to England? If I lived back then, if I lived back in the year 600, and I get a choice of where I want to go as a soul, I would choose Switzerland. Because that is like Black Hills on a second level. But why would I go to England? Because see, when you think like that, you would think, I want to go to a place that's holy. I want to be there. That would be the Black Hills. It wouldn't be the prairie. It would be the Black Hills. That was our medicine area. That's where we came out from the earth. Twice. Once when we first came out, and we went in there again when the grandmother Earth was going to cleanse herself. We went back in there, and then when the cleansing was over, we came out there again the second time. Suppose we're going to go back in there again. You never know. So that's the holy area. Why would we go to England? Then it comes to the question of, what is a soul? Can a soul have a language? Can a soul speak? How can a soul speak when the voice belongs to the body? How can a soul have emotions when the emotions belong to the physical body? How can a soul have a personality when the personality belongs to the body? It belongs to the mind. The mind belongs to the body. Remember I told you this story one time of this guy where I won't say his name out of respect to the family. But when he was in high school, he got into a serious car accident. He was a super athletic guy, macho guy, different girlfriend every weekend, just really athletic. He got into a serious car accident, almost died, went into a coma. While he was in his coma and his head was healing itself, his brain rewired itself. So when he came out of his coma, he was a totally different man. Totally different personality. Now he was a teddy bear. He was a sweet guy. Totally changed. The mind rewired. Personality comes from the mind, and the mind belongs to the body. So how can a soul have a personality? These are just questions. So Lakota Star Knowledge belief states that the soul has no mind, it has no personality, it has no voice, and it has no emotions. It has no form. That totally shatters spiritualism and any other kind of religion that believes in these kind of things. But why do people believe it? Why are people so quick to jump at it? Because it's using emotion. Most religions do that. They appeal to your emotion. When somebody close to you dies, you're all worked up and you're all emotional about it. This is the gateway to fall into these kind of traps. That's why in the Lakota way, when somebody dies, you have to really be careful for 4 days. 4 days after that person dies, you can't be alone. You always have to have somebody with you, because otherwise you could lose your emotional self and you could go crazy, literally. You really have to be careful. Then the mourning period begins 4 days after the person dies. Then that's when you cry. I mean, you can cry before that too. That's no problem. But the official mourning period begins 4 days after the person dies. But during that first 4 days, you should not be alone. And you can cry, that's no problem, but you should not be alone. You should have some support. Because something unhealthy could happen that's going to come through these emotions, that's going to push a fear from your mind, and it's going to appear in front of you. You could go crazy from that. You could become schizophrenic from that. It's not the explanation for why people get schizophrenia. That's not the explanation, but you could get it this way. So that's why they say you should not be alone for 4 days after somebody dies. They should always be with somebody. Families always should be together. Never let anyone be alone during that four days. That's our way. That's really ancient. So when you look at our belief system and the ancient way, yeah, the Lakota star knowledge way, that's what I'm telling you is the star knowledge version of these things. See, here's the other thing. We believe in reincarnation. So who really are the ancestors? Think about that one. It's a good question. But the question I was asking earlier is, why is it that people are so quick to believe these things? Well, in duality, people only see two perspectives. And when this happens, whenever they feel an emotion, they trap it. Whatever emotion it is, they trap it for as long as possible. In Lakota star knowledge, when you go through a difficulty and you start making the best of it, that emotion leaves and brings you peace. Okay? But that you have to learn, though. You have to make the best of it, or otherwise it won't work. And that experience will keep happening until you do learn from it. So, in duality, as soon as a difficulty comes, they deny it. They ignore it, they deny it, they trap the emotion, so they never can have peace. Which means they don't know themselves. In Lakota star knowledge, the way to achieve peace inside of you includes taking care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, but it also includes getting to know yourself, coming to peace with your past. And when you do that, that's when you find peace. And then you have to nurture it. You nurture it by making the best of your difficulties and enjoying the good times. That's how you nurture it and maintain that peace within you. So emotions leave, but you're going to experience them then again. You will be happy again. So that's how that works in Lakota star knowledge, because people know who they are. They took the time to check themselves out. In duality, they run away from themselves. Because when a difficulty comes, they turn away from it, call it a mistake, call it a failure, without even checking it out. And they hang on to an emotion. Whatever it is, they force it to stay. That's why they can't have peace. And if they can't have peace, they do not know themselves anymore. So they look for everything around themselves. Yeah, they look for peace around them. And this is where these religions come into play. So they see something that makes them feel good because they want to feel that emotion. They're going only for the emotion. And that's what these religions do. They appeal to your emotions. So they get you. They trap you. Or you trap yourself, I mean. They don't know themselves. That's why they don't take the time to check things out. So anyway, spiritualism, they teach these courses on how to be a medium and allegedly contact the dead and so forth. It's just a scam. It's all a scam operation. These are things that magicians do. Sometimes they call it hot reading, cold reading. It's basically you're milking the person that is your client, your customer. You're milking them for information. There's certain questions you can ask, and then you can just toy with people's minds. There's a really good video. I posted it on my Facebook timeline, and I'm going to post it again. So if you haven't seen it, come to my Facebook. It's David Little Elk. Type that in. You'll find me, and I will post it again. It's really worth it to check this video out, because this is a guy in England, and he made everything up, and he brought in 3 mediums, and he wanted to know how this certain guy died. And so these 3, they come in one at a time. They all give different versions of what happened. And then at the end of each reading, he tells each one, this guy never existed. And one lady, she tries to lie her way out of it some more. And she says, I knew that. See, Spirit told me I was going to be tested. She's trying to still justify. She's trying to hang in there. It's like an old pair of Fruit of the Loom underwear, and it's so old that the fruits are just barely hanging on. That's the kind of liar she is. See, he fed them, he baited them. And what he did was he made a website previously describing this man and this candy factory. The only thing that was true was that, yes, the building was a candy factory. That was the only thing that was true. But the owner, there was somebody different. And he just grabbed the old picture from anywhere off the internet and just said, this is the owner, and he put the name underneath. So then what these mediums would do, they would say, okay, I'm getting the name George. I think the last name starts with a B. Yeah? See, they checked out the website. The website was loaded with false information. So what they did was they already researched it, and they were using information, from that website, and they all that time the guy tricked them. All that information was lies. That man doesn't even exist. And there was a reason why he chose the name Bull, because the whole thing was bullshit. Yeah? It's a really good video. This is exactly what they do, these so-called mediums. And one guy doesn't have the internet, so what he did was he saw the nameplate under the picture, but then he was trying to deny that he saw it. I have really bad eyesight. I can't read, Well, if he had bad eyesight, it's lucky he even found the place. So, lies, lies, lies. It's all it is. It's a con. It's nothing but a con. So, why do people fall for that? Remember, once I said something, and I say it when I can. In Lakota Star Knowledge, one of the principles that comes after the basic foundation, one of the next principles, is something called like attracts like. You attract what you are. So when you fall for these kind of people, that says something about you. You have to wonder about that. See, these guys, they know how this works. They know how to fool you. They know how to gain your confidence. That's what con man means. They gain your confidence and then pull the rug out from under you when you least expect it. And then they have your money. And you think you have all this knowledge from the beyond, and it was just all made up. This is how that works. It's a scam. Now, in spiritualism, in the early 1900s, they have all these pictures of people going into trances and this ectoplasm. I can't believe they actually use that word even. But when you see these pictures, you see it coming out of their nostrils, their ears, their mouths, wherever their eyes, wherever there's an opening. And this is supposed to be from the beyond, yeah? And in this plasm, there's pictures, there's faces in this stuff, and this is supposed to be of people who died. But if you look really closely at these photos, they're all portraits. Everybody's posing. Everybody is posing. They're all portraits. This is early 20th century Photoshop. It's trick photography. See, I did a seminar at this school. They were doing something on Indians, and they wanted an Indian presenter, so they contacted me, and I went and did check that out. And I had no idea what spiritualism was. And somebody there gifted me with a book called "What is Spiritualism?" So I read it, and I did my research on the internet and checked everything out, and I figured out how they do it. It's a scam. It's just a scam. And I looked at these photos really closely, and I figured out this is trick photography. I know how they do this. So they wanted me to do this again the next year. So I went back and I was talking about Indians, how things are on the res, and a little bit stories and stuff like that. And this is when I met Pam. She said she was a psychic. She said, she could talk to aliens. So I had to straighten her out, yeah. When Pam went into a trance, she was speaking perfect American English, yeah. As soon as she went into a trance, Pam was like, "Oh my God." No, I'm just kidding. No, don't. I'm just teasing there. No, Pam asked me if I was ever doing a seminar in England or Ireland, and I said I was coming to this one. And I said that there are people who come there that they only come to see me. They don't want to have anything to do with the spiritualism, but they want to learn about Lakota things, so they come to see me. So I said, if you want to come and check that out, we can hang out and stuff like that. And so that's what she did. So she just attended my sessions. I mean, she checked out the others, but they were nuts. They had a medicine wheel thing going where it was like a game, and so you put things together. So she hollered out, "Bingo!" That's a true story, yeah. That's so silly what they do there, yeah. So we stuck together because we were basically the only normal ones there. And then there was some other people there too that they were nice people. There's maybe about 6, 7, 8 people that towards the end of the week they didn't want to go to the other seminars either. They only wanted to stay with me because they didn't want to have anything to do with that nonsense. And they didn't like the other presenters because they were talking bad against me because I was the real thing. And they're just a bunch of con artists. There was one guy, he was telling the other people, "Well, David doesn't do what we do." That's exactly right. I tell the truth. They bullshit. Yeah? So he was telling the truth, yeah? I'm the one who's doing the real thing. They're just saying a bunch of lies. But for a presenter to attack another presenter behind the back, you know what I mean? That's cowardice. So that they lived what they practiced, which was bullshit. They practiced what they preached, which was bullshit. So that's the last time I did anything with them. The second time that I came back, I wanted to see it for real. Yeah. So among the presenters, I was telling them, I said, you know what? I read this book, What is Spiritualism, and this Estelle Roberts and all this, and now I got a lot of information. I said, and you guys are calling yourselves mediums, and you say you do this. I'd like to see it. I didn't say it like, I want to see if this is real. I didn't say it like that. I said, I really would like to see one of your seances. I would like to see this. It really interests me. I said, I was honest. I wasn't trying to test them out to see if they were fake or not. I really, really did want to see if this ectoplasm really exists. And they said, "Oh, no, we don't do that anymore." And I was like, "Oh, geez, that's too bad." Because I for one would really want to see it. "Oh, no, we receive impressions." And they're like, "Aha, okay." See, they're toning it down because today there's technology. You can sneak in, your little phones, even then, this was 2000, what, Pam, was this 2008? Even then, there were cell phones that could record, yeah? And so now you can catch them. So now they're toning their act down. So they were fake, yeah, they were fake. And like attracts like, I decided not to work with them anymore. I can't work around crap like that. So that was the end of that. So anyway, you are what you attract, and that happened at this seminar too. Pam and I got to know each other really good, and we had a damn good time after that. I did some seminars in Ireland and Isle of Man, and we went around to those together, and we had a really, really good time. Yeah, so see, you can transform a crazy experience into something really nice. Yeah, so that's how I got to know Pam. And also, there were people there that, like I said, they only came to see me. And so they kept in contact with me after that, and they said, hey, if you're ever in Ireland, let us know, and stuff like that. So they only wanted to be with me. Like attracts like, yeah. The good people found each other in this group of 100 people. The good people found each other. Like attracts like. That's a natural law. Yeah? And the bullshit attracted the bullshit. And we got the hell out of there after that, yeah? We went and got ourselves some barbecued ribs. Had a good time. Okay. So thank you very much for tuning in and listening. I wish you guys a good night. Pam, thanks again for being here. I really, really appreciate that when you can tune in, and have a good evening. Sleep well, sweet dreams. Thank you for taking time to tune in and listen to the show. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to eat really early tomorrow, so I'm on time, yeah, because today I ate early, but I was washing dishes. I have a thing for washing dishes, yeah, I don't know. I get carried away. Shoot, okay. Everyone have a really good evening. Sleep well, sleep tight. Have a good rest of the day wherever you are. We don't say goodbye because we don't believe in that. We say until next time, which in Lakota is Toksha Ake. Voice just came to me. I'm channeling the voice of Estelle Roberts now. Hey. Shoot. I'm gonna reverse this. Yeah, I'm gonna Estelle Roberts is gonna be my spirit guide. Yeah. Shoot.